Roughly 10,500 people were hurt and taken to the hospital because of fireworks last year. That is according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
So if you're planning on ringing in the new year tomorrow night with fireworks, we know there are going to be some shows around, and a lot of people will buy them, right? Bring them home, do them with friends. We want to remind you about safety and precautions you need to take to stay safe. 3TV's Mark Lieberman live at the Mesa Public Safety Training Facility with what we need to know. Good morning, guys, and good morning to our friend Forrest. We love him.
Yeah, Forrest is out here. We're having a blast. We're just about to get started, and the cool thing is we're less than a little more than 24 hours, I should say, before New Year's Eve, and we're going to be seeing tons of fireworks, and we're hoping, of course, everybody who does them uses legal ones and does them safely, and that's kind of why we're here, to remind everybody about all the different safety precautions that you've got to take if you're planning on doing a fireworks display on your own on New Year's Eve. So, Forrest, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely.
You've got some sparklers in your hand here. So these, first of all, these are obviously, are these legal or no? These specific sparklers you've got here?
These are absolutely legal to use. And that's one of the things I want to stress is that fire departments, we're advocates for public safety. So we're not trying to be fear mongers and tell people what's scary and what not to use. Well, we do want to tell them what not to use, but we don't want to create fear. The idea is just to create safety and awareness. Like you said here, as this is a sparkler, these are completely legal. On my table, I have several types that are legal, consumer fireworks, and some that are considered illegal. One of the things I want to note, just starting from the basics, is your sparkler. As you see here, great fun, lots of light, but one of the things I want to stress here is the fact that you're looking at about 1,200 to 2,000 degrees of heat. So what I want to do is just demonstrate what happens when it comes in contact with this hot dog with a piece of meat right there. Well, it just went out, obviously.
We'll try. You want to try? Can we try it one more time for us before we wrap here?
What I want to do is just stress the fact that you're looking at about 2,000 degrees of heat that comes off these sparklers. And so the idea of this stress is the fact that if it comes in contact with skin, the burning they could do. And right there you can see just from the little tap I did prior to going out what that did to the hot dog. And so when you look at the contact that it can have and the damage it could have on somebody, it's extremely painful. And so that's just what we want to stress. So really it comes down to adult supervision, being good role models for your kids when we're using these. And then, of course, keeping pets away from them as well.
Okay, and I do want to show Forrest one more thing. We were referencing these fireworks here. These ones right here, and we'll get to this later on in the show a little more, these are legal. These are not. So you can just see some examples, as you were saying before we went live here, of illegal fireworks, which are these ones right here, correct?
That's correct, yeah. And what makes these illegal is the fact that these deliver a report and some of them go airborne. So a rule of thumb is when you go to buy these, you might run into some of these that are illegal. Look out for the ones that deliver a report or explosives, rather. So that's what consumers want to look out for.
Perfect. Forrest, thank you so much. And want to remind everybody who's planning on doing fireworks on New Year's Eve or a couple days after, the sale and use of them is legal, but only until January 3rd, and that's, of course, only when it comes to legal fireworks. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, you want to keep safe out there while celebrating. No sparklers. That's it for me.
That's it for you.
But I never thought about that hot dog trick.
You don't want to give people ideas, though, all right? It's better to, like, grill them, probably.
Maybe.
And it's also important, though, know what your city's rules are.
Yes,
everyone's
exactly.
different.
It's a little bit different in each city. Okay, we still have so much more.
Well, roughly 10,500 people were hurt and taken to the hospital because of fireworks last year.
That is a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, right?
Yeah, that's according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. I'm assuming that's nationwide. So if you're planning on ringing in the new year tomorrow night with fireworks, firefighters want to remind you to stay safe. And Mark Lieberman is out this morning with more on what you need to do to be safe. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Scott and Tess. Yeah, there are quite a few things you want to do to keep safe. First of all, I want to show you guys, we've got different types of fireworks here on display. These are illegal, these are legal, these are illegal. And sometimes it's tough to tell the difference. That's why firefighters out here are putting this on display, just so you get an idea of which types are legal, which are illegal. So we've got Forrest Smith out here with Mesa Fire and Medical. Forrest, we're going to be doing a display here in a second. Tell me kind of what the important things are to know if people are at home about to do a fireworks display tomorrow night for New Year's Eve.
All right, well, a few things is we don't want to create a great deal of fear in the public. The idea is just really, as advocates of public safety, to create awareness. And so what you pointed out to your viewers are there there are the consumer fireworks that are illegal. Those are the ones that are ground-based. They don't go airborne, and they don't have deliver an explosive type of sound, or a report rather. So what we just want to remind people is just practice some cautions, safety cautions, as far as keeping them away from combustible objects, also keeping them out of the hands of little kids. One of the things I'm going to have Dean do here is light one. We've got a couple of ones that are considered illegal, and we want your viewers to see here is the fact that they are unpredictable. You never know what they're going to do, how they can deliver a great deal of heat. And so really it's more of a thing of situational awareness. So right here, as you can see, we've got a sparkler going. Sparklers can deliver about 2,000 degrees of heat. And then, of course, we've got your legal, these are the legal consumer fireworks. Again, these are the ones where we want to keep them away from your home, have them at least on a patio or in an area that's clear of any brush. Also have a clearance space for pets as well as kids. And one of the other things, too, is we want to remind people is that you want to make sure that you're practicing good, safe practices for kids. So the idea is being good role models for the youth coming up when they're using these, because they're here to stay. Right now, he's lighting off some of the illegal ones. One of the things your viewers can't see is the fact that they go airborne. And of course, living in our state, the last thing you want is anything that has fire attached to it that could find itself off into brush or, unfortunately, into your neighbor's home in the attic space.
One thing I noticed, especially with some of these illegal fireworks that we've been lighting off, is, like you said, they're very unpredictable.
Right.
Sometimes they'll completely go dead, or you might even think one's a dud, and then they'll start back up.
Absolutely, and that's the idea, is that if you notice that one is a complete dud, don't bank on the fact that it might go off or not go off. Just pour water on top of it and call it good from there.
Forrest, thank you so much. I do want to show off as these are still going. Wait, we'll give us a second here. Don't want to get too close. I think that one's done. Not sure, though, but again, that's why we're standing back. Do want to show off something. We've got this water bucket here. This is something very important to know, because when you've got your fireworks, Forrest is saying make sure once they're done, you want to put them inside this. And if you've got a dud, he wants to reinforce, you also want to pour some of the water from this bucket, or just any water in general, on top of that dud before putting it inside a bucket just like this. And in terms of fireworks consumption and buying them, when it comes to legal fireworks and using them, you've got until January 3rd to do so. Guys,
I
back to
knew
you.
it would be fun to be a firefighter, because you get to shoot off the good stuff on live TV, right?
Without getting in trouble.
Exactly. That's like the most fun part.
Exactly.
and being a reporter, too.
Right.
Thank you, Mark. Important information.
All right. Thousands of people were injured and taken to the hospital because of fireworks last year. That's according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
So if you're planning on ringing in the new year tomorrow night with fireworks and don't want to end up in the ER, firefighters remind us all about safety and precautions we need to take to stay safe. 3TV's Mark Lieberman is at the Mesa Public Safety Training Facility with what we need to know. Mark?
So we're here in Mesa, and this is what we've got going on here. We've got legal fireworks on this side and illegal fireworks on this side. Important to tell the difference between the two, but sometimes it is very difficult to tell. So that's why we've got some examples out here to show you. And a lot of the times they look very similar and even act very similar when you light them, but it is important to know that there are quite a few illegal fireworks out there, and you got to be aware of them. So we've got Forrest Smith here with Mesa Fire Medical. And Forrest, tell us first of all, when it comes, I know we're going to light this in one. Actually, we'll have you light this first.
Okay. What I'm doing is I'm lighting a sparkler here. These are completely legal to use. One of the things that your viewers want to note is the fact that these let off a heat, about 2,000 degrees of heat. And so one of the things you want to be aware of is just not coming in contact with these, and the fact that they can cause third-degree burns easily. Now what I'm going to do is walk over here, and I'm going to light up another one that's considered legal. I'm using a torch right here, but one of the things with using a torch is that you also want to practice caution when using any type of heat source or lights or fire source and starting these up. Now, one of the things with this is that you certainly want to create an area of defense, and when I say area of defense, it means creating an area of space away from your fireworks. So when you're going out and planning your evening for this, have an area set up where everybody stays clear of this. Have it in an area where there's something combustible that can burn, a nice flat area. Have it in an area, too, where you don't have kids coming in contact with, as well as pets. And, of course, you also want to make sure, too, that it appears like it may go out, it may not necessarily be done, because as we know, one of the thrills on these is the fact that it has a little downtime, and then of course it starts back up again.
So, and when it comes to, you were saying this specific one is legal, even though it shoots up into the air and obviously could have that downtime, this one is legal.
That's correct. This type is considered legal. The ones that are illegal are the ones that go airborne or that deliver a report. And when we say a report, that's the one that's an explosion. Those are the ones that, once they go airborne, those could lead to fires. And so being in a dry environment that we are, that can lead to some issues.
Want to show really quick before we wrap up here, Forrest. You were showing off a little earlier the damage that one sparkler or whatever, what was that called?
That was an M1000 firework.
That M1000
Right.
does. Just, you can see that inside, just how much damage that could do with just one of these things. That's what we're talking about here. Also want to show, Forrest, thank you so much. Also want to show off before we wrap up here. We've got a bucket of water now, quite a few fireworks in there. What you want to do with all your legal fireworks, you want to make sure you put them in a bucket of water just like this once they're done. And if you've got a dud, Forrest was saying, you want to make sure you pour water on top of that dud and then obviously put it inside this bucket, inside a bucket of water to make sure it is completely out. And in terms of using legal fireworks and consuming them, you want to make sure you do that, and buying them, you want to make sure you do that. It is only legal until January 3rd. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Mark. Important information.